Welcome everybody to my very first video here on YouTube. I am Sugarbread and I am so excited to start this channel. So just give you guys a little bit of insight to hopefully what this channel is going to become. My name is Adam. I go by Sugarbread. As you can see there on my gamer tag, that is me. I'm going to have some gameplay in the background, but I'm going to be talking about breaking news. And just a little disclosure, I've been traditionally conservative in my life, but over the last couple years, I've really tried to remove myself from any extremes in politics. I've really tried to stop with the dehumanization of the other side. So I don't look at people that voted for any particular person as the other. What I've been searching for over the last couple years is just the truth. Like, what's the truth? And it's getting harder and harder to find. And I want to be part of the solution. I want to be part of the adults in this country that are speaking the truth. Now, unfortunately, even that's getting harder and harder to do as you see social media, the censorship being ramped up. And that's actually a perfect segue. So, breaking news: Twitter permanently bans, and I'm not certain how to say her name, but Marjorie. I'll be honest, I don't follow this woman. I know she's a congresswoman from Georgia. Twitter permanently bans Marjorie Taylor Greene for COVID misinformation. So here we go. Twitter permanently booted Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene from the social media platform Sunday, saying she had repeatedly violated its policies by posting misinformation about the coronavirus pandemic. The Georgia Republican's personal account, MT Greene, was permanently blocked, although her congressional account, REPMTG, is still online. Quote, "We permanently suspended the account you referenced for repeated violations of our COVID-19 misinformation policy," Twitter said in a statement. "We've been clear that per our strike system for this policy, we will permanently suspend accounts for repeated violations of the policy." Greene responded to the ban by going on the social media site Telegram to call Twitter a, quote, "enemy of the people." Twitter is an enemy to America, Twitter is an enemy to America and can't handle the truth, a congresswoman said. She went on to say she'll show America that we don't need them and it's time to defeat our enemies. I will say this about not needing Twitter. Twitter's got a tough job, and I'm not here to defend Twitter, but Twitter does have a tough job. I want to believe in my heart of hearts that Twitter doesn't want to destroy society by silencing anyone they disagree with, but it's getting harder and harder to hold that position, because it seems like that the people that get constantly banned off social media, and please let me know down in the comments if I'm wrong about this. By the way, leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. It's getting harder and harder to defend the hopeful idea that Twitter's not. Now, everyone knows Twitter's based in Silicon Valley and that they have a left-leaning liberal bias. That's clear. Anyone who debates that, it needs to pull their hand out of the sand, clearly. But you hope that they don't just do it out of malice. You hope that they don't just do it out of spite. And this COVID thing is weird. Oh, no, let me finish my original thought here, that we don't need them. I want that to be the truth. My wife and I have another channel called Adam and Cat, and we signed up to a website or a social media app called Getter, Gettr, today. Actually, we've been on there for a while, but we started using it today. We need competition. Twitter needs competition. YouTube needs competition. Facebook needs competition. The problem right now, a huge problem right now, is that all of these major social media, quote, platforms, I use a quote because they don't tend to act like platforms, they tend to act like publishers. It's not a good idea that they have zero competition. It's just not. Whenever you have zero competition, that becomes an oligarch, is that the right way to put it? A dictatorship, you guys, you get it. You can't do it. Because then all the people that are the only people that are curating, looking over, monitoring information lean one way. And that's just not healthy for a society that is supposed to live off of free speech, off of the marketplace of ideas. We're supposed to be able to, that's why we have the First Amendment, so we can debate ideas and get to the bottom of things. Because when you close off speech, and look, this goes, if this was the other way around, if all these companies were based out of Texas and they were just shunning everyone who had an opposing opinion out in LA or New York, that would also be a problem. But right now, it seems to be only going one way. We need competition. So when she says Twitter's the enemy to America and can't handle the truth and says that we don't need them and it's time to defeat our enemies, I hate to be, I don't want to go as far yet in saying that there are enemies. I want to believe that they think they're doing the right thing, but I also think that they need some sort of regulatory body to make sure that they're not targeting political adversaries. Now, I think everything I just said is reasonable. Quote, and I think this is more from Marjorie. I'm just going to call her Taylor Greene because I don't even know if I'm saying her first name right. They, quote, they can't successfully complete a communist revolution when people tell the truth, she said, adding that communist Democrats can't stop the truth. Quote, I stand with the truth and the people. We will overcome, she declared. Twitter has taken similar actions against politicians and even news sites over content that the social media giant deems to violate its policies. It permanently banned former President Donald Trump last January due to the risk of further incitement of violence over his postings about the January 6th Capitol riot. Trump, who had 88.6 million followers, called the ban disgusting. Twitter also blocked the Post from tweeting its bombshell report in October 2020 about Hunter Biden's overseas business dealings, information that came from the laptop of President Biden's son. The Twitter CEO, Jack Dorsey, eventually backed down 2 weeks later and unlocked the account, leading the Post to declare free bird. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's obvious that Twitter has a bias towards Democrats, towards liberals. That's the people who work there. I bet they hire very few, if any, Republicans or conservative type people. So you get an echo chamber and you get a strong, heavy bias. So your policies are going to reflect that. And then you block the Post from tweeting its bombshell report about Hunter Biden's overseas business dealings. And that's a problem because that was a real story. That was a real story that got completely just swept under the rug by mainstream media, by social media, because of its potential harm in hurting Joe Biden in the 2020 election. I don't think there's no way to even refute that. Those are facts. So it's very concerning that the social media platforms, look, if there's people inciting physical violence, if there are people that are breaking the laws, they're doxing people, here's how it should be. If you're doing anything that's against the law in real life, that should be an offense that should get you taken off social media. But if you are banned from social media because you report something that's truthful or even an opinion, but it just happens to go against the narrative from quote unquote the overlords at Twitter or Facebook, that's a problem. And that any reasonable human being should push back against that. And I don't care which side you are on, and I hate even using that because I don't feel like we should be on sides. We're all Americans. But if you're Democrat or Republican, just because your side is the side that's not getting silenced right now, don't think that in the future it doesn't turn the other way. So be careful what you wish for. Jason Miller, a former Trump advisor and campaign spokesman, called on Greene to join his social media app Getter, Gettr. And hopefully Getter is a viable competitor to Twitter. We need a one-to-one. We need some sort of app that it's like you can go to either one and you're not getting just one curated, slanted view on things. Quote, free speech is under assault once again. Fortunately, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene will always have a political voice at Getter, he wrote on his Twitter account. It's kind of funny. It's not known which tweet prompted the penalty, but on Saturday, the Rolling Stone reported that she tweeted that before the coronavirus deaths from vaccines, the Rolling Stone reported that she tweeted that before the coronavirus deaths from vaccines were rare. But now an extremely high amount of COVID vaccine deaths are ignored and government-forced vaccine mandates are increased. Twitter previously suspended Greene's account for a week in August after she tweeted that the Federal Food and Drug Administration should not approve the COVID vaccines, saying the shots are failing. Now, I'm not getting into that, not because I'm scared to talk about it, because I'm not smart enough. I'm not smart enough to speak on that. I haven't done any research on the numbers and the shots and the deaths from the shots or how successful the shots are. I'm in way over my head on that one. Hopefully one day as I go more and more down the rabbit hole of news, that's something I would feel more comfortable speaking on. Sunday's ban was the fourth time Twitter has taken action against Greene over what it called misinformation. Greene also has been hit with more than $80,000 in fines for violating Congress's mask rules over 30 times. Sorry, guys, I got a little bit of the sniffles over here. It's cold in Arkansas. In an interview in November with Newsmax, Greene revealed she has not been vaccinated. And I will be standing strong, standing up for the people across the country that refuse to get vaccinated, she said. Her office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. It's weird, guys. We're living in weird times where you can be banned off social media for facts and or opinions. Okay? Now, like I said earlier, I'm not going to get into the whole vaccination thing right now because I'm not educated on that. I haven't done any research into any specific numbers on the efficacy of it, or I just know, like everybody else, the stuff I hear on the news, stuff from the left, stuff from the right, and I try to. Here's what I think. I'll tell you what little I do think about the vaccine. I have a daughter who is 15, and she has some medical issues. And one of her medical issues is she has a respiratory problem because she only has one lung. More specifically, she has 1/3 of one lung. She was born with a lot of medical problems. She's fully vaccinated. Okay? Because this is a respiratory disease. And so we took the strong advice from her doctor, the one that did most of her surgeries, and we got her vaccinated. We felt like we did the right thing. She's 15, she's not a little kid. She's 15 years old, so we felt like it was the right thing to do. I'm 40. I feel like I have a strong immune system. I don't necessarily think that I need it. And here's all I'm going to say on vaccines. I'm not anti-vax. I'm far from it. I think there's many, many vaccines that are really good and have saved millions of lives. But I'm also not for government mandates to inject people with a vaccine that's A, relatively experimental, and B, doesn't really stop the spread. It may slow it down a little bit. And that's the thing I don't want to get into because I don't know all the specifics and the numbers on that. And I still think there's a lot of data to be processed over the next couple of years before we really know the pros and cons of this thing. So here's my take. If you want to get vaccinated, or if you have family members that you want to get vaccinated, you have moms and dads that are older, you think they should get vaccinated. I'm sure it will be safe for you, and I'm sure that it's probably the right thing to do. But I also can sympathize with the people who don't feel like they need it and don't want it. Look, I haven't taken a flu vaccine in 30 years probably, and I'm still alive and kicking. And I understand it's not the exact same thing as the flu, but it's still a coronavirus. And that's about as far as into the weeds as I want to get with that, because the more and more I talk about the actual data of the efficacy of these types of things, the more ignorant I'm going to sound, just because I'm ignorant on those type of things. But this particular video is about censorship, and it's about Marjorie Taylor Greene being kicked off Twitter. If you liked her, she's on Getter. Maybe you can go follow her there. Guys, it's not even really about, for me, it's not really even about the vaccines. It's about the censorship and one side or the other getting to choose who and who does not get to participate in the public square, the public debate. I don't think any one government should have that much power. Any one company should have that much power. So I think right now there's a monopoly that needs to be broken up. But guys, I'm out of here. Hopefully you enjoyed my first video. These are going to be the types of things I'm going to be breaking down and talking about on a daily basis. So subscribe to the channel. Keep checking back. Turn that bell notification on. Maybe share it somewhere. I'm hopefully be around for a long time. You guys, take care. Bye-bye.